Hey YouTube, Travis here, and I've got quite a bike to show you today. This is a 1978 Puch Maxi Luxe, and the Luxe model was kind of the luxury model. It had a couple differences from the other ones. For example, it has turn signals, there's the controller box for 'em. It also had saddlebags, which I don't have right now. This is actually my friend's bike, which he's keeping at my place as I help him restore it. He's having the saddlebags reupholstered. Those are going to come out really nice. It also had a high torque head, which I will show you here in a minute. It's in a box. And this bike's got a pretty cool story behind it. So basically my friend Ben, he saw my moped and my couple mopeds actually. And he was interested in them, and he mentioned that his great uncle had a Puch in his basement. So that's pretty cool. And a couple weeks later, he got it. He brought it back up to where we live. And this bike's going to be a lot of work, but it's going to come out really nice. So there's the decal on the side cover for those of you who like to see those. So like I said, this was his great uncle's bike. According to the odometer, which may or may not be right, but I assume it is, the bike only has 1,700 miles on it. So that was pretty cool. Most mopeds have pretty much under 2,000 miles. I think I was watching another moped documentary and someone put it pretty well. They were like, mopeds are something that somebody forgot to throw away 30 years ago. Well, instead of throw this one away, it's been sitting in a basement at least since probably 86 or 87, so about 25 years. Got this cool license plate on it. But this bike's got the title and everything else with it, which is awesome. Now, unfortunately, Ben's great uncle made the same mistake that most people make when they go to put a bike away for decades, and that's to leave a full tank of gas in it. Yeah, I don't understand this. Well, there's the top of the cap, and there's the tank. It's really bad in there, covered in varnish and rust, but it's close to what mine looked like. I mean, it's nothing we can't handle. He'd also left the forecock conveniently locked and lost the keys, so we had to get that cut off. So that being said, let me talk a little bit about the conditions this bike was stored in. I didn't see this basement myself, but apparently, unlike this basement, which got, concrete cinder block walls, this basement apparently was from a very old house. The kind of, foundations where you have, rocks jutting out and tree roots coming through. Very, very damp. So he got this bike. The engine was seized, and I was like, oh well, maybe it's just seized in the top end, and we can get it free. Well, right about that time, we took a trip up to Quarter Kick, which is a shop in Kalamazoo, Michigan, for a little event they had there, and had some really cool guys helping us out. And we found out this bike's gonna need a little bit more work than it initially let on. So here's the cylinder, and here is the crank, piston, and rings, or what's left of them in this that was in this engine originally. After we beat this out, I mean, look at that thing. You can't even tell that there's rings there, really, unless you look. And this assembly here is done. So, after looking at that and draining the transmission fluid, which was this really, really gross brown color, I came to the conclusion that this bike was going to need a full engine rebuild. Well, we had so many fantastic people there, so many experts who were able to help us out, that that's exactly what we did. So yeah, this is my friend's little box of parts. There's the totally reassembled engine hiding out under there. We got a new top end assembly, new piston, rings, cylinder, and other high torque head. And it took a lot of work. I mean, this thing was so gooped up inside, so rusty and bad, we took it to a local car wash and sprayed out the engine cases with the sprayer they had there, which is pretty fun. And we had it all nice and clean. Got used crank, new bearings and seals in there, and yeah, sealed it up. We gotta do the clutch and the electricals on both sides, but then that'll be all done. So I have a rebuilt engine. Take care of the gas tank. These wheel bearings are likely going to need to be repacked. Wheels aren't in too bad shape actually, but yeah, it's a much bigger project than I had to deal with. But I've gotten someone else bitten by the moped bug, and I think that's pretty cool. Well, I can't really promise you guys regular updates on this bike since it's not mine, but you'll probably see it totally completed riding around in a couple months here. Our goal is to make the Bourbon Bandits Rally, which is coming up in a couple months here, and that ought to be great fun. Alright YouTube, well, I hope you enjoyed seeing this bike and getting a kick out of these burned out parts down here. This high torque cylinder might almost be reusable with some honing if it weren't for that dip right there. Ugh. So very grimy and gross. Well, you know how some people have truck nuts on the back of their trucks? Those gonads that hang down? What if we did something like this, where we hung this like that and just let this kind of dangle? So yeah, I sure do love these Puchs and their E50s. I mean, I had never cracked cases on a moped engine before, and my friend had never worked on anything before. On his first day, he was rebuilding his engine, which was actually really cool. It's one of the things I love about this hobby is that you don't have to be like a seasoned mechanic to kind of jump into it. A lot of things are intuitive and you can kind of teach it all yourself. So, alright YouTube, well, until next time.